Good morning. Today we're introducing Meringue to some raw food, but spoilers, I already knew she was gonna like it. She's a foodie, so none of this was a surprise. Milkshake is getting half a pack of Oma's Pride, which is about 2 ounces, but Meringue is still getting wet food for the majority of her meal. I'm only adding a small amount of raw food to her base because even though she loved the little sample bite I gave her, it's still good to take it slow. Raw food is the most biologically appropriate way to feed cats, but every pet is different and I want to make sure her body reacts well to it before just switching her over in general. Prior to giving her any fresh raw products like this, I've been giving her a lot of freeze-dried raw and she's handled it really well, so my hopes are pretty high. Obviously, Meringue likes the raw food, but if that wasn't the case and she hadn't shown as much interest in it, I would have used a smaller amount and I would have mixed it more thoroughly with the wet food. Making sure the two foods are well incorporated blends the textures and the temperatures, so it's harder for the cats to detect the new raw elements. There's something called the 3 T's rule, which is taste, temperature, and texture, and ideally you only want to change one factor at a time. Since we're going from wet food to raw food, the taste and texture are relatively similar and the temperature is pretty easy to manipulate, but if we were going from dry food to raw food, we'd have to take a couple of extra steps. It essentially all comes down to if your cat likes the raw food or not. If they like it, then transitioning them is pretty easy, and if they don't, then you just kind of have to sneak it in little by little until you slowly work up to a fully raw diet. Obviously, we've established that raw feeding is my preferred method, but even I still keep canned food and dry diets like air-dried and freeze-dried raw just to make sure their diets stay nice and diverse. Cats are imprint eaters, so transitioning them isn't always this easy, and I want to take advantage of Meringue being so food-driven while she's still a kitten because this will help make sure she doesn't become picky later on. It's kind of similar reasoning to why I feed fosters really diverse diets. That way they do well on whatever they're eating after they get adopted, and this method has worked really well for us.